We start here this morning. Will the Meyiwa family finally get justice? The trial of his alleged killers returns to court once again, but this time around with Judge Rata Mokgatleng presiding. Mokgatleng takes over from Judge Senzo Meyiwa, and he was suspended following allegations that he failed to deliver judgments within allocated time frames. Meyiwa, the Bafana Bafana and Orlando Pirates goalkeeper, was killed in October of 2014. The murder took place at the Foslura's home of his then-girlfriend, singer Khumalo, and 5 men are currently on trial for the killing. Well, eNCA's Silindelo Masikane has the very latest. She joins me now, of course, for this conversation. And Slee, a very warm good morning to you, a colleague. It seems it's another day where we're seeing court proceeding, of course, and commencing today. But what exactly can we expect from court this morning?
Well, we just have about an hour to go before we are expecting court proceedings to resume here in the North Gauteng High Court. Of course, we had postponed this matter back in June when we were informed by the judge president of this particular court saying that Judge Senzo Meyiwa, his medical team informing the court that there was a strong possibility that he would not return back to this trial. And it seems that from various consultations, there has been a decision made to place a new judge to preside over this particular matter. We know that this trial, Dumelo, is 8 years in the making. The Meyiwa family still seeking justice, still wanting to know exactly what transpired on that fateful evening in October of 2014. And of course, we know that this trial is not without its own controversy around the fact that we have 2 dockets at play in this matter. We have one docket alleging that the men in the dock, the 5 men who have been on trial for the past year, that they are the ones that are responsible for the death of Senzo Meyiwa. But we have another docket, docket 375, opened in 2019, alleging that those in the house and that someone in the house was the one who actually shot and killed Senzo Meyiwa. But I am in the court corridors rather, and I do want to show you, my colleague Kamohelo Mahlokane will show you that in terms of the courtroom itself, Dumelo, we have very high security measures put just outside of the courtroom in terms of ensuring we know who is entering the courtroom. The public is more than welcome to come to the courthouse, but they will have to register themselves and get a tag identifying themselves. As the media, we will also be registering and making our way inside court and getting tags to identify ourselves. But to just give us some legal analysis in terms of what we can expect, I am joined now by legal expert from the Mr. Marius du Toit. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's just unpack what we can expect, Mr. du Toit. I mean, this trial being a year in, already a year in, is now set to begin all over with a new judge. Talk to me about the kind of pressure this new judge will be under to ensure that there is a speedy trial moving forward.
Yeah, Slee, I think it's tragic that the trial has to start de novo before a new judge. I don't think necessarily the judge will be under any additional pressure than any judge would be in the normal circumstances, because that judge is just there to ensure that the proceedings are running smoothly. And I think what he would do is he would try and put measures in place to curb the wasting of time and to curb unnecessary postponements. That having been said, by its very nature, criminal proceedings tend to be postponed. By their very nature, things don't always run smoothly. You get accused that become ill. You have prosecutors that become ill. You have urgent other matters that are attended to. And all these things can play a part in the matter not running as smoothly as the public would like to see. But having said that, I do believe that the parties involved, the attorneys, the accused, the prosecutor, all those parties will definitely do their utmost to make that the proceedings do in fact proceed at a steady pace. But time will only tell whether we will have the same difficulties we had during the first trial. At least the element of surprise is missing. We will not be surprised with the second docket because we know that. we will not be surprised by the antics of Mr. Tetu because he's now been removed. So we can expect that less of those showboating incidents will occur. But I do believe that finances might play a part. If we have private instructions, who knows how far that money can go and whether they would run out of resources during the course of the trial. But time will only tell.
Yeah, but does it benefit anyone to have this trial starting over, or does it prejudice anyone, in particular the witnesses, the accused? I mean, how do we then expect the state to proceed? Do they then continue with the current witness who's under oath, or do we go back from the very first witness?
So, Slee, the matter has to start de novo, which means everything has to start afresh. The plea will be recorded afresh. The parties will record the fact that they're ready to proceed. If the matter is to proceed at all today, we will have that the preliminaries will be done, that you would have any court trial, and then the witnesses would have to testify again, and the court might, in all likelihood, convene a meeting between all the parties to see how unnecessary evidence can be curbed, to try and circumvent the unnecessary delay of the proceedings. And I think the court would really emphasize that. That being said, Slee, unfortunately, this judge must deal with the evidence afresh, which means the evidence must be adduced afresh. He must consider the evidence afresh. And you were asking who benefits? Actually, nobody benefits, because on the accused side, they have a right to a fair trial, which means a right to a speedy trial. So their constitutional rights are being affected by the delay. We all know justice delayed is justice denied. But having said that, in a matter of this magnitude, if you have resources available to appoint a private counsel, chances are if you have to run a second trial, you won't have those resources. So you are now affected in your ability to run a trial and represent yourself with your new attorney. So that means you are now, unfortunately, left with a pro deo advocate, or maybe that's somebody appointed by the legal aid. So it might prejudice you in your defense. The state similarly also suffer prejudice, because the state will now say, well, listen, we want this matter to come finality. Now all their witnesses are being cross-examined a second time. And that's the last thing you want as a state, because now I can compare what a witness testified the first time around with what he testifies the second time, and I can now confront a witness with the fact that he's deviating from his previous testimony. So that's not in the state's interest. So at the end of the day, even a witness will say, well, now I'm being cross-examined by a new attorney afresh, and I didn't want that, so now it affects my credibility. So I think very few people actually win with such a delay, but keeping in mind, time is always an accused friend in a criminal trial. But in this instance, I think everybody would suffer some sort of a prejudice as a result of this delay.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. That is legal expert Mr. Marius du Toit, unpacking what we can expect in terms of how this trial will proceed moving forward. Like I said, court proceedings expected to start at 10 a.m. this morning, and of course we will be bringing you those visuals as soon as court proceedings begin. And of course we are still anticipating to see whether or not we will see any of the Meyiwa family members coming to court.
We'll leave it at that, colleague, as of course anticipate what's to happen in court today, but also listening to our legal expert just narrating how it seems we'll have to start all over again in terms of getting those testimonies in, and of course getting all the presentations by all the legal representatives really involved in this case. So Silindelo Masikane out for us in court. We'll bring you those live visuals as soon as they are available.